In 1954, a passenger plane took off from New York and vanished somewhere over the Atlantic Ocean. Search teams looked for it for weeks, but they never found a single piece of wreckage. The plane simply disappeared. Then, something impossible happened. 37 years later, the same plane suddenly appeared in the sky and landed. And what investigators discovered inside that aircraft would become one of aviation's most disturbing mysteries.
The aircraft was known as Santiago Flight 513. It carried 92 passengers and 4 crew members. The plane departed normally from New York City, heading towards Santiago, Chile. Passengers settled into their seats. Flight attendants began serving drinks. Everything about the flight seemed completely ordinary. No one on board had any idea they were about to become part of a mystery that would last decades.
A few hours into the flight, the plane was flying smoothly over the Atlantic Ocean. Weather conditions were calm, visibility was clear. Then suddenly, the aircraft disappeared from radar. Air traffic controllers tried to contact the pilot, but there was no response, no distress call, no emergency signal. The plane had simply vanished.
Within hours, a massive search operation began. Rescue planes scanned the ocean from above. Ships searched thousands of miles of water. Investigators expected to find wreckage floating somewhere in the Atlantic, but they never did. No debris, no life jackets, no bodies. It was as if the aircraft had completely disappeared from the world.
Months passed, then years. Eventually, authorities made a painful decision. The passengers and crew were officially declared lost at sea. Families held funerals, memorials were built, and the mystery of Santiago Flight 513 slowly faded into history. Most people believed the plane had crashed deep into the ocean, but decades later, something unbelievable happened.
In 1989, air traffic controllers at an airport in Porto Alegre, Brazil, noticed something strange on their radar screens. An unidentified aircraft was approaching the airport. Controllers tried contacting the plane, but the pilot never responded. The aircraft continued flying straight toward the runway. Then the controllers noticed something chilling. The aircraft identification matched Santiago Flight 513, the same plane that had disappeared 35 years earlier.
The mysterious aircraft slowly descended toward the runway. Emergency vehicles rushed into position. The plane touched down perfectly, a smooth landing, just like a normal commercial flight. But something felt wrong. The windows were dark, no passengers moved, and the aircraft remained completely silent. When investigators approached the aircraft, they opened the door carefully. What they saw inside shocked everyone. Passengers were still sitting in their seats, seatbelts fastened, heads facing forward, but none of them were alive. Every person on the plane had become a skeleton, as if decades had passed inside the aircraft.
Inside the cockpit, the scene was even more disturbing. The pilot was still sitting in his chair, his hands resting on the controls, but he too had turned into a skeleton. Yet the aircraft itself was in perfect condition. The instruments were working, the fuel tanks still had fuel. It was as if the plane had just completed a normal flight.
Soon after investigators began examining the aircraft, the plane was quietly removed from the airport. The case was suddenly closed. No official explanation was ever given, but one question still haunts those who heard the story. Where was Santiago Flight 513 for all those years? And what really happened to the people on board? Some mysteries may never be solved.